this topic to be a little bit more difficult to bring to the channel because I mostly do fashion commentary, talking about upcoming trends, lookbooks, and styling tutorials. But I'm a fashion photographer in New York City, and I thought I'd bring you along on a photo shoot that I recently did with some of my FIT classmates. So like I said, photography as a topic on its own is a little bit more niche than just fashion content in general, but it is something really important to me. It's one of my biggest career focuses, as well as working in styling and assisting stylists. I do the same thing with fashion photographers and do a lot of fashion photography work on my own. So I'd really love to find a way to bring that outlet here as well and express my photography and just creative direction elements in a video format. So I'm going to test this again so many months after I've done it a couple times and see how it goes. So I'd really love to bring that outlet here and create a video on my whole creative direction process, all of the amazing clothes that the stylist of this shoot picked out, the location finding, and just the whole process of putting this together because it was such a fun day. It's a labor of love, and I would love a way to express all of that here as well. So the theme of the shoot was a sort of indie sleaze, Britpop, grunge sort of thing, and it took place in a bar in New York City called Madame X. I actually reached out to them through Peerspace, which is a really great platform for photographers and people working in production to find good, affordable spaces for photo shoots that don't have as high of a budget as the top industry photo shoots. A lot of local venues and spaces will also put their place, or if they have a private room, on the app so that they can rent them for photo shoots, as well as just like a bar or a party or stuff like that. So Madame X had their private room upstairs on Peerspace, and I found it because the pictures were just so beautiful. It was this gorgeous red oasis. It's kind of like burlesque themed, but kind of on the tame side. Everything's red couches, ornamentations. It was so beautiful, and also red's my favorite color, so it was just kind of such a breath of fresh air to be editing these photos and see so much red. Like, I'm just like, oh, I love it. After picking out the location properly, I had to figure out the best team, so I thought that 3 of my classmates from FIT were great. Annalise was the model, and she also did her hair and makeup, and then I had 2 stylists for this shoot as I wanted to see how many looks we could get out, because magazines tend to pick photo shoots that have 4 to 8 looks rather than just 1 or 2. 1 or 2 is easy for portfolio building, and I've done a lot of shoots that I've just done 1 or 2 looks, but we wanted to try to push it out and see just how good we could make it. So the 2 stylists I chose were also from FIT. Their names are Monica and Courtney, and they're both so talented. I love the way that they style using pieces and elements, like accessories. Like, when I described it to Monica how I loved her styling, I was like, you guys just use things all over the place, when I could really have just said accessories, but they morph accessories into different items, and just, I don't know, they have a really cool sculptural way of playing the styling, and it really worked for this sort of playful, grungy overall look that we wanted. And I had discovered Annalise through this photo that was taken from one of my photo classmates last year, and when they presented it to the class, I was just so amazed by it. The entire photo, the way she poses, it was just so amazing to me, and I thought that she would be great because she's really into grunge, edgy silhouettes when it comes to fashion, and just very dynamic and expressive modeling, kind of pushing her modeling as far as she can, which is really cool. So altogether, the team was really amazing, and I was so excited to work with them. So the first shot, I wanted to be a little bit more rigid. I felt like that was the best way to kind of start the shoot, not necessarily doing anything crazy, just standing in place, just having a strong and not necessarily mean face, just kind of rigid, like bodily. And because there is a smiling photo in this little portion, but I figured that I wanted to start off just kind of rigid, just getting warmed up. Although Annalise did not need that because she's so good at just like getting right in there and doing the most dynamic poses. So right across the bar in this little space, we found this cool little like ladder leading up to a tiny little sitting area. But I thought that playing with the ladder would be really cool, so we just worked with poses there. Little tight space. What I noticed the most was that because it was not really showing the red couches and everything across the entire space, my flash didn't bring out the red, which was like the glow of the entire space, because the flash was just going to take the natural colors of each part of the photo. So when it came to red, it was mostly dependent on the couches and things like that. Since I've just mentioned the lighting, I'm gonna briefly talk about what lighting I used to bring to this on-location shoot. I'm going to consider it on location because it's not really a studio, meaning they don't really have the backdrops, the walls, the equipment. It's really just a bar, even though you booked it the same way that you would book a studio. But for on location, I bring a very mini portable Photo light. I'm going to grab it right now. This is my Photo A2. It's a little mini studio light, a strobe light, not continuous. And it definitely packs a punch when you're on location without the whole studio setup, or if you're outside, also on location, but just blending with the sun instead of depending on it. I would not depend on this as the only light source. I kind of did for this shoot, but I still made it work just because it is so small and pinpointed. I'm happy that all of the full body shots, everything was illuminated right, but I found that if I try to depend on just this for a studio shoot, it's mostly like the head is illuminated, the rest of the body's not, and I just don't really like that uneven look. So when I'm in a regular studio where there's either seamless or a cyclorama wall, they usually have the bigger Photo studio lights, either the B series, which are also portable. The B series looks exactly like this, but is like 4 times, yeah. The B10 looks just like this, but is 4 times the size, and it is also a portable outdoor light, but it is better in terms of being able to use the big soft boxes and spreading the light as much as possible. But the main studio lights are the D series. I use D2s a lot, and these are the most powerful studio lights, and again, you can use the biggest soft boxes with them and get everything illuminated really well. So the overall look of this shoot is slightly dark, but still using flash because of how small this is, but it's still really great when you want to have that magazine quality, especially for the portability of it. It's super convenient when you're traveling and want to do something very spontaneous, and yeah, it's just a really good tool to have considering you can just take it anywhere. At times, especially when it comes to student productions, it's really hard to have the right team, the vans, the ability to move all these giant moving parts, but with this you can really create magazine quality work with something that fits right into your hand. Moving back into the process of the shoot, we liked this ladder area, but since I wasn't shooting on anything red, you're not going to really see much of the red interior of the location. I wanted to go next into the fashion of this look and all of the other looks because Courtney and Monica picked really cool pieces and introduced me to stores that I'd never heard of, so that's pretty interesting to me. So in this first image, the yellow top that has the British flag on it is from this consignment store called Posers Hollywood, which I'd never heard of before, but it is something that I'm obsessed with. Like, it's this store in California that sells a huge selection of secondhand Docs, New Rocks, Fred Perry pieces, just very British grunge associated brands, and it's decorated in this very like punk way, and I just love it. Like, I wish that this was in New York City because it looks like such an amazing place. Like, oh my god, just walls and walls of like Docs, New Rocks. It's just so much fun. I just love it. So that was really cool to discover from that shoot. And then the shoes are another like big piece that I love from this look. They're these huge boxing boots by Puma x Fenty, and oh my god, they're just so gorgeous. Boxing boots are really in right now, and they're just such a dramatic version of them, how tall they are, and just, oh my god, they must take forever to lace up the entire both of them, but I'm obsessed with them. I love like the little like Velcro patches at the bottom. It's just such a really cool silhouette, and the gothic print worked really well with the overall aesthetic of the shoot. There's a very like faint cheetah print tight under these silver shorts, and I love the silhouette of the silver shorts with a belt that comes across the waist where a belt usually wouldn't go, but just right in the middle of that silhouette. Overall, I loved the playing with all the colors, just the textures. Again, like, their way of styling is so very much about the accessories, the textures, the pattern mixing, and it was so perfect for this shoot. She's also wearing a Vivienne Westwood necklace, but it's kind of small in frame, so I don't think it's that noticeable or as big of a detail as the others. For the next shot, we moved into this other room that was down the hall from the bar that had a view into the backyard rather than a view to the city, and it was just full of these like couches, little lamps, plants. It was really cute in there, and I wanted to use this stripy red couch that had a lamp in the background. Oh, and all these beautiful flowers hanging above. I thought that that would be a really cool place to shoot, so I wanted to do something a little bit more dynamic than just standing in place. So we had Annalise kind of lying back and just creating shapes and just being playful, and she was great at that because all of her posing is more grunge and just edgy. This hoodie was made by a local designer, Emiliana Larson, and I believe that she graduated from FIT. She does a lot of really cool graphic pieces and printing, and I love them. I love also the shape of this hoodie. It's like very, I don't know, it's not really like the typical hoodie. It's kind of flowy but also boxy. I think, okay, the photo kind of shows what I mean. Like, it kind of acts sort of like a bolero. It's kind of connected to the hood but not necessarily a full hoodie. I love that construction and how it just plays with the overall look. Just zooming in and seeing all the little different details. I love the zebra print bra or bikini I think they used, and the puffy bubble parachute skirt. Also the tights. The shoes are really cool. The shoes are from Acne Studios. I just love this. I never really liked wood in the silhouette before when it came to shoes, or like that wedge material, but these are really cool. I love them. They're just so, love the studs and the leather, really nice. And then the bracelet was from Trash and Vaudeville, which I haven't been there since I assisted a stylist, but I've been meaning to go because everything in there is just so much fun to look at. It's a punk-themed consignment store in New York City. It's kind of similar to Search and Destroy, but less intense and scary. And I really love it for their accessories, and I just have to go back again because it's been so long. But yeah, that was the second look. I really loved overall the posing and just working with the couch. I loved just the stripes of the couch, the patterns of the floor, the futons, just everything. The ornamentation of this place was so beautiful. So then this shot I found really cool because, again, they used a bikini in such an interesting way. They put it around as if it were like a belt hanging through this little thrifted tutu. All of these pieces, so much fun. And then here you can see the opposite end of the bar where you see more of the red couches, the red lighting from the lamps. And because it was taking a shot of her and then leaving everything in the background, everywhere where the light didn't hit was still illuminated in that red tone throughout the entire place. That first shot, since it was so close up and just closed into this little area that didn't have as much of the red illumination or red background, we were just taking a picture of that wall, but you can see anything that the light isn't hitting is still going to maintain that little red glow throughout. It's kind of funny how it matches with the exit sign, and like the exit sign doesn't become this opposing giant neon color. I love this shot because I was happy that the lighting was able to just capture it so perfectly despite being so small. These glasses that she's wearing are Miu Miu, and at this point she changed into a wig rather than having her regular hair. I thought that was really cool. It like plays into the whole accessories vibe of the entire shoot, where now even there's a hair accessory like a wig. I love the variety and just how all of these like maximalist accessories still remained in where they're supposed to be. Like nothing was too much or too out there. It was all just contained, met the theme really well, and yet still really interesting. And just, I personally want to just keep looking at all of the details. I feel like the styling and having Courtney and Monica who know how to play with accessories and make them into something that they're not originally, like wearing things wrong but in like a really cool intentional way, was absolutely perfect. The glasses she's wearing are Miu Miu, and the skirt is from Trip New York City, and the rest were all from consignment stores except for the big long Converse. The long Converse was something that I never really got that into until I saw the boxing boots start to become trendy, and I've started to really appreciate that big laced aesthetic. And I think that the Converse is such an iconic, like grungy, even like 2014 indie kind of moment, and I'm starting to love them. Like the leg warmers with them, just the amount of thought that goes into each and every component of these outfits. It's just the thought and the contemplation on so many different elements and moving pieces of these outfits. It's just so amazing to me. This next look, I just think is so much fun. I love the hat. I love the like paperboy, or this isn't really a flat cap, but I love the like British flat cap, and I really want to make that more popular because it is just such a fun silhouette. It's just so good. Like I just love it. I want that to be coming into like party outfits because it's so perfect for this time. We have Jean Paul Gaultier sailor hats. Indie Sleaze works so well with that. It's just, this hat is just so good with that entire theme. I also really loved the Christian Audigier pants. They were just so fun with the metallic kind of zebra print aspect of them. I love the metallic with this overall look. Just the careful ripping of the tank top is so good. The fur coat with the metallics, it's just so gaudy and out there, but in such a fun, really cool way. For this pose, I wanted her to be like very in control of the scene, very in command. It has like elements of what we'd call the mob wife aesthetic. I really hate that particular one because it came at a time it was just thrown into the internet as if people wanted to create their own new thing, because there are so many trends that kind of have this little umbrella term like corpcore, office siren, that makes sense where they come in, because those two are sort of a response to the Y2K trends being very, very in your face, bright colors, maximalism, and so that's the natural progression that it's going to tone down before it comes back and stuff like that. But I don't know, I think that was just like thrown out there randomly. But instead of like the mob wife, I feel like she's more so personifying the mob boss. Like she's in command with these giant like gaudy fur coat that you'd see like the Italian mafia depicted in movies. I'm trying to zoom in on the necklace. Like I don't even know what this necklace is. It's like this cherry necklace that's really cool. It's like a choker that has a big giant cherry, and it's something that you'd have to really zoom in and lean into to just find it. Like every single one of these outfits you can just stare at for all of its little pieces. And then finally, I don't remember fab footage for this one, so this was really funny because of this kind of cheetah headpiece that they used. It's so playful. It's such a random piece that you wouldn't necessarily find mixed in with a full outfit. It's very costumey and playful, but I love that about it. Plus it sort of matches the cheetah print that's hidden in the first look, and I love the red tights, the red ripped tights with this other pair of brown wooden shoes. Overall, the colors in this outfit as well as the accessorizing just plays into the same themes of everything else, repeating little tiny little elements, and it's just done in such a nice way. And yeah, this was taken on the opposite balcony overlooking the city from the second floor, and I loved the little chairs and everything because they could be moved around a little bit more effortlessly than the rest of the space. So I had Annalise just kind of sit facing the other side of the chair, and I don't know, I just figured it was a more prominent and just edgy sort of pose in general. I also really love the brick wall in the background. I don't think many of the shots of the area had a brick wall. It was mostly that felted red overall look, but it was cool to get that in the frame. And yeah, that was the final image, and I'm really happy about how this shoot came out. This shoot ended up just being a really good portfolio builder for all of us. A test shoot where we could express the creative direction, the styling, and just the photography, the space in general, just as fun and maximalist as we wanted at the moment. It was a little bit too maximalist to be placed in a magazine because all of their creative direction is a little bit more honed in and simplistic. But I think that having that experimentation was really great for us just to practice and also to show just how far we can take a photo shoot. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope it was fun to also see the behind the scenes image making process of fashion rather than just talking about the pieces themselves. If you want to keep up with more of these photo shoots and my editorial styling as well as my outfit styling, you can follow my Instagram, and I also have TikTok, Pinterest, and my portfolio linked down below. And see you next time.